Ah, the Amiga. The darling of European gaming in the late 80s and early 90s. With the groundbreaking graphics, incredible sound, and huge software library brimming with creativity, it's the perfect platform for racing games to shine. Today we're counting down the top 10 racing games for the Amiga. Some of these titles are fast, some are quirky, and a few might make you wonder how they even qualify as racing games. Let's hit the gas. We kick things off with Badlands at number 10, a Domark port of the Atari arcade game that takes the tried and true formula of isometric arcade racers like Super Sprint and adds a post-apocalyptic twist. Set in a grim world full of wastelands, mines, and ruined cities, this game tasks you with not just racing, but surviving. Armed with weapons, your goal is to outmaneuver and destroy your opponents while avoiding the hazards littering the track and dodging the missiles coming at you from your opponents. The Amiga version stays true to the arcade original, with its fast-paced action and detailed dystopian visuals, although it's not without its flaws. The controls are a bit touchy, and the difficulty spice can feel brutal, but Badlands remains a unique racing experience for those who like their speed with a side of destruction. If you're into chaotic fun and don't mind a challenge, it's well worth a play. Stunt Car Racer is an undeniable classic, and one of the most innovative racing games ever released on the Amiga, or anywhere for that matter. Designed by Jeff Crammond, the mastermind behind F1 GP, this game trades traditional racetracks for elevated courses filled with massive jumps, tight corners, and stomach-turning drops. If you've ever wanted to race a car on a roller coaster, this is the game for you. What really sets this game apart is its physics engine. Every bump and leap is calculated, making the cars feel weighty and real. The damage system adds another layer of tension. One bad jump can leave you nursing a cracked chassis, hoping that you make it to the finish line. With a thrilling single-player mode and a multiplayer option that lets you link two Amigas for head-to-head action, Stunt Car Racer is a masterpiece of design and innovation. Top-down racers were and are a staple of the Amiga library, but the number 8 game on our list, ATR All-Terrain Racing, stands out as one of the best. Developed by Team 17, the folks behind Worms, this game combines tight, responsive controls with blisteringly fast gameplay. The tracks are a joy to race on. They're filled with hazards, tight turns, and shortcuts that reward skilled players. But what really elevates ATR is its presentation. The colorful graphics are full of personality, and the in-game soundtrack keeps the adrenaline pumping throughout every race. The variety of vehicles and terrain adds depth, from muddy off-road circuits to futuristic cityscapes. Multiplayer is, of course, where the game truly shines. Battling your friends for the top spot while sabotaging their every move is endlessly entertaining. If you're a fan of the top-down genre, forget Micro Machines. ATR is the absolute must-play. When it comes to realism, Formula One Grand Prix is in a league of its own. Just look at the presentation on display here. The opening sequence has a designer unrolling a freaking blueprint. Designed by Jeff Crammond, yes, the same guy behind Stunt Car Racer, this game is a love letter to Formula One fans. Every element from car setups to tire wear is modeled with incredible detail, making it a pioneer in racing simulations. The cockpit view immerses you in the action, giving you the sensation of being in the driver's seat on some of the world's most iconic circuits. Sure, unless you have a Mega Amiga, the frame rate is going to chug just a little bit, but the sheer depth and strategy make up for it. Whether you're fine-tuning your car for race day or pulling off a perfect pit stop, F1 GP is an unforgettable experience for motorsport enthusiasts. There's nothing quite like Supercars 2, the 6th game on our countdown. This top-down racer combines tight driving mechanics with an over-the-top arsenal of weapons, creating a chaotic and endlessly entertaining experience. While the core gameplay focuses on speed and skill, it's the combat that really sets Supercars 2 apart. Blasting your opponents off the track with missiles and mines is as satisfying today as it was in 1991. The humor in this game is another delight. From the absurd licensing questions that you get to talking your way out of various police encounters, this game is sure to keep a smile on your face while you're playing. To the ridiculous scenarios you'll find yourself in, like getting trapped in tunnels, Supercars 2 doesn't take itself too seriously. The multiplayer mode is an absolute riot, with friendships being tested as rockets fly across the track. If you love your racing games with a side of mayhem, this one's for you. Jaguar XJ220 is a love letter to fans of both high-performance cars and scenic racing. Developed by Core Design, the team that later brought us Tomb Raider, this game delivers a smooth and polished experience. The visuals are stunning for the time, with vibrant environments that take you from sun-soaked beaches to dense forests. One of the game's standout features is the track editor, which lets you create and race on your own custom circuits. Combined with responsive controls and a dynamic sense of speed, it makes Jaguar XJ220 one of the most versatile racers on the Amiga. And let's not forget the soundtrack, a selection of catchy tunes that play while you are racing and perfectly match the game's vibe. And who can forget track names like Thrash Pig? This is a fast, stylish ride you won't want to miss. The first, but certainly not the last Lotus game on our list, Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge is where the Amiga's racing legacy really begins. Released in 1990, it set a new standard for the genre with its smooth controls, sharp visuals, and addictive gameplay. This was the game you showed off to prove the Amiga's power, especially with its split-screen multiplayer. The emphasis on skill-based racing rather than gimmicks makes it a standout even today. Mastering the tight corners and overtakes is endlessly satisfying, and the sense of progression as you tackle increasingly challenging tracks keeps you hooked. The Lotus trilogy is iconic on the Amiga, and this is where it all began. Coming in at number 3 is Crazy Cars 3, also known in its expanded form as Lamborghini American Challenge. This game takes illegal street racing and wraps it in a stylish, high-stakes package. It's not just about speed, it's also about skillfully navigating traffic, dodging the popo, and betting big on your own ability to win. The game's progression system, where you gamble your race earnings to climb the ranks, adds a layer of tension and strategy that few other racers can match. Visually, Crazy Cars 3 is a treat. You've got detailed cars, smooth animation, and just a great sense of speed. The gameplay strikes the perfect balance between arcade fun and a touch of simulation. It's accessible and challenging at the same time. The thrill of weaving between traffic at breakneck speeds never gets old, and the dynamic weather effects add an extra layer of unpredictability. Whether you're racing for glory or just trying to stay out of trouble, Crazy Cars 3 is a high-octane ride you won't forget. Motorcycles, mayhem, mad cat violence. Road Rash takes the runner-up spot for its sheer audacity. While the Amiga port doesn't quite reach the smoothness of its console counterparts, it still delivers a brilliantly chaotic racing experience. You're not just trying to cross the finish line first, you're just trying to survive. Armed with chains, bats, and a bad attitude, you'll spend just as much time fighting your rivals as you will navigating the roads. The sense of speed is exhilarating, and the roadside hazards like cars, trees, and the occasional cow keep you on edge. Road Rash is a perfect blend of arcade racing and beat-em-up gameplay with just the right amount of dark humor. It's impossible not to grin as you land a perfectly timed swing, sending an opponent flying into the dirt. For those who like their racing games with a side of chaos, Road Rash is an absolute must-play. At the top of our list, and coming as a surprise to nobody, it's the legendary Lotus Turbo Challenge 2. This game represents everything that makes Amiga racing great. incredible graphics, tight controls, and a sense of speed that few other games of its time could match. Building on the success of its predecessor, Lotus 2 refined every aspect of the original, while introducing dynamic weather effects that added an entirely new layer of challenge and immersion. Racing through rainstorms, dodging puddles, or navigating fog-shrouded tracks is thrilling, and its bright and vibrant visuals are just striking. The soundtrack by the Wizard of the Tracker, Barry Leach, is possibly the best-known tunes on the Amiga outside of Turrican, and the split-screen multiplayer lets you share everything this game has to offer with a buddy. Lotus 2 is fast, fun, and endlessly replayable. If you play only one Amiga racing game, make it this one. It's not just a game, it's a legacy. And there you have it, my 10 favorite Amiga racing games. Did your favorite make the list? Or is there a hidden gem I missed somewhere? Do you really think Micro Machines belongs on the list? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Adios!